Okay, good first day out there today. Good to see the draft picks out there, the undrafted free agents, and then the tryout guys. Good opportunity to make an impression for these 2 days. In meetings, really the words were, right, we get out there in the field, it's equal for everybody. Everybody has an opportunity to make an impression. Everything is evaluated, every meeting, every step on that field. So guys did a good job today.
What impression did Bryce make today?
Yeah, Bryce made a great impression. Obviously, mentally and physically looked the part in every way. Threw the ball exceedingly well. You could tell he was in a good space mentally. Really had a firm grasp on everything we asked.
Frank, how do you avoid overwhelming a young quarterback on day one?
We keep the install relatively light. I'd say you want to challenge him a little bit, but we try to find that fine line. I thought Thomas Brown did a good job with the guys today, getting everything in, installing it. The position coaches, did a good job. I think all the players, kind of took to it quickly. And we were able to pace things out there, right, because you don't have big numbers out there, so we're kind of going slow. There's a lot of coaching going on in between plays. The goal isn't to try to fool them out there. We want to put them in the best position to show us what they can do.
Frank, in the grand scheme of things, we saw Bryce throw the downfield pass in 11-on-11. How important is it to finish on like a positive note? I know that wasn't the last rep, but how important is that for a young quarterback?
I always think it means something, right? It means something. You always want to finish on a positive note. The whole team, certainly as a quarterback as well. And it was a good day in a lot of respects. But like we said there at the end, you go back, all these guys, go back and watch every rep, watch all the individual periods. But I thought Bryce did not only a good job with himself, but just really commanding the huddle, kind of keeping everybody loose, keeping everybody dialed into what we were doing. I thought the guys did a good job.
Right, the first time out there, are there things that you want to test him on that you want to see out there?
Yeah, everything is a test, right? The footwork, the vision, the accuracy, and we talk about those things. The timing, decision making, timing, and accuracy. Decision making, timing, and accuracy are the things that we talk about over and over again. So. Those things are always being evaluated. He looked good today. Some of it's a feeling out process, like between he and Josh just talking about, we do allow a little flexibility and freedom with each quarterback within their footwork, depending on what they're comfortable with. So, we kind of have certain requirements that are musts, and then we have other things that are more of a feel thing for each quarterback. So there's a little bit of a working that out with Bryce and Josh in this process, but that'll go smoothly.
Frank, in the 2 weeks since he had his welcoming thing here and we talked to him, how did you send him home with a book and any interesting stories from when he came back, any of the retention or anything that was noticeable?
Yeah, the guys were, the league allows a certain number. You can Zoom call guys and you can't overwhelm them, but you're allowed a certain amount of time. So, I know our guys, Josh and those guys, were able to do that. And so were the other coaches, be able to connect. And, all the reports were, without sounding like a crazy, the reports are all very glowing, let's just put it that way. Because in some of those meetings, you can really push the envelope, you can push the envelope mentally. And you really just get a chance to get a lot of back and forth conversation, with the player. And, where when you get in these install meetings, it's kind of rapid fire because there's a schedule and it's tight and we got to get out in the field and go. So, but when you get these meetings beforehand, you're able to have more interaction and you get a really good feel. So it was all very positive.
Coach, what throw or move or anything that Bryce did today that kind of made you say, that's why we drafted that guy?
Honestly, without, I don't want to overdo it on the first day, but he did every little thing right. The little throws out in the flat, the little bubble screen stuff, the deep overthrow, throws in the flat, just threw it with accuracy, saw it well, knew where guys were supposed to be. Just showed complete command.
Do you see early chemistry with Mingo?
I do. You can tell. I think those guys have. You'll have to talk to them, but I think they They know it's an opportunity for them. Same rookie class, 2 high picks. You know, I think they're going to be very intentional about creating chemistry, right? That's normal to be expected, and will be good for our team.
Was that intentional for you guys, Frank, that if you could, to bring in a high draft pick at receiver to pair with Bryce?
You know, it wasn't like we didn't go in, Scott will tell you, like we didn't go in saying, hey, we're going to draft Bryce 1 and then a receiver 2. You know, we knew we were going to stay true to the board. And, you know, Mingo was one of those guys we had up there. He was very deserving of that pick, and we were excited to get him. We had several other guys at that spot, too, at other positions. But, you know, I just credit Scott. We stayed true to the board. He was there. It is a nice benefit, you know, that you get that quarterback receiver 1-2. You know, I think even back to my own playing days, you know, we came in with Andre Reed and, you know, in the same draft class. And, you know, to this day, we're 60 years old and we're still, you know, it was just, and I wasn't the I wasn't the star quarterback, but it's a quarterback receiver. You're in the same draft class. You have something special. So I would hope and think that those guys that'll be a unique connection point for them for a long time.
Frank, you mentioned after the draft how hard of a worker Bryce was and how his practice process was when you guys asked him about that. And we came out to try to get video of him walking up early before practice, and an hour beforehand he's already on the field. So
Yeah.
How does that speak to how hard he works and the process he's already putting in before he's even had a first official practice?
Listen, I mean, I know there's other players like this, but right, it goes without saying, like, we love guys who love the process, who love the grind, who love the game, who love everything about it. Bryce has demonstrated that his whole life. I mean, everywhere you go, when you check how he's been the same way. This isn't anything new for him. So he's just doing what he's done his whole life, and that's get prepared, you know, so that he can be counted on, play in and play out, and in the big moments. And you know, part of that leadership is you know, doing doing the things right. And so he's going to do whatever it takes. You have that sense that he's willing to do whatever it takes.
Frank, with tryout players, when you're evaluating them, I think Nick Sirianni said last week that he didn't want to miss out on the next Adam Thielen. How much does that kind of go through your mind when you're trying to figure out if these guys belong?
It's exciting, you know. Like I give Scott Fitter and Dan Morgan and the scouting staff, you know, a lot of credit. We feel good about the tryout guys that we got in, and right, there's story after story of these guys making team and going on to have long careers. So. You know, I was talking about it with somebody in our personnel department today, walking off the field, starting to identify, okay, here's the tryout guys, who might we want to keep? So it's all it's exciting. You know, this is what this league is all about, opportunities to compete and show what you can do. And so I'm excited for the guys.
Frank, we saw Steve Smith out there today running some drills. You know, what's the significance of having legends here? You know, I mean, he was out there throwing balls to the receivers and stuff. Just talk a little bit about that.
I know, it was great. I love to see Steve out there. You can just feel his energy. Got involved in a little drill work out there. That was great. Had him say a few words to the guys afterwards. You know, I mean, he just speaks, and it's like, okay, this guy's got some presence. What he says is going to carry weight with those guys. And, you know, I liked what he said. You know, he pushing the guys. You know, like, let's go. I mean, this is a great opportunity you have, but we got to go harder. We got to be on top of our game. But it's kind of cool that we get him here and hope to see a lot of them out here.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, you had a guy playing tight end and linebacker today. What does that do for you in terms of obviously what he brings to you on the field, but just about his mental acuity?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting, you know, and a little challenging because you got to try to split up the reps. But, you know, you got 2 days to do that just to try to get a feel for, you know, is there a fit? Where's the right fit? So, you know, I'm actually looking forward to, you know, talking to the coaches about that, you know, when we get in there, see how things are going, what's the plan for tomorrow as well, you know, and how we in those 2 days can get an evaluation of you know, where the best fit might be.
What's the thought process with just one running back in the camp? How can you be efficient that way?
We know in that last period is kind of a walkthrough period, and we know we can kind of supplement it with the second quarterback or with the receiver. You know, because each person we bring in is very intentional. We're not going to bring somebody in that we don't feel good about, and we don't want to bring too many guys in. So we know how many reps. Like I tell Scott in advance, hey, listen, here's what we're going to do. We're probably, good being one deep at running back. If you got a second guy who you really want, go ahead and bring him in, but we can get by with one. At receiver, we probably need an extra one. There's a couple spots you need more, but felt like at running back we could do with one.
Guys, we got time for two more, so we'll go Joe and then Phil.
Just thoughts on the schedule last night, and do you think it was fair? You had, I guess, week 7 by?
Yeah, no, I was excited about the schedule. It always brings a different element when you can see who the opponents are and when. You really just focus one at a time, but you kind of, when it first comes out, you kind of map it out. You kind of look at it in sections. We as coaches typically look at it by quarter. Those kind of 4 games at a time. Now with 17 games, you got that one extra game. But yeah, I've probably had a couple of years where I think that's kind of an odd scheduling thing. I really didn't see any quote-unquote major glitches in the schedule. Everything looked normal and good, and was excited about it. And we got some good opponents, and looking forward to getting ready.
Right, one more on Bryce and his work ethic. When you talk about quarterbacks elevating guys around them, how much of that starts with getting there early, working on things like that?
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. We got to lead by example. Obviously, quarterbacks have a lot to say. They're oftentimes the voice as well, but there's nothing like leading by example. And, normally if a guy's coming out there, sometimes they'll get out there by himself, but usually if you're going out there, it's probably helpful to bring somebody along, and then the next thing you know, that kind of grows, and you start creating a standard for the preparation, of what it's going to take for us to get where we want to get to. And, and when the quarterback is doing that, I just think it sets the team and the offense in the right mindset. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.